This episode brought to you by thegiveawaygeek.com. Win board games, electronics, and gift cards at thegiveawaygeek.com. The geek that keeps on giving. Hey everybody, welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we're bringing you a prototype preview, how to play Taking of Taidian. All right, now this is a game that is currently up on Kickstarter. I'll have the link for that Kickstarter page in the description below. Those of you who have seen my channel before know I don't review Kickstarters. I more just show you what's involved so you can decide for yourself if it's something you might be interested in. And we're going to run through how to play this game. This is a deck building combat where you can have one-on-one or you can have 3-4 players. Actually not positive what the maximum number of players is for this game. However, conceivably, I would think you could have quite a few players playing this game. There's definitely a number of characters that come with the game. So without me talking too much more, let's get right into it. The only other thing I'll say is this is obviously a prototype, so everything is subject to change. The rules, I believe, are pretty close to finalized, if not finalized, but of course they could be tweaked. The numbers on the cards could be tweaked, and for sure the card backs are going to be changed. That's actually part of the Kickstarter. Certain backers, I believe, or maybe all the backers, I'm not sure, you can go over the Kickstarter page and look, are going to be able to choose the artwork for the back of the card, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, without anything else, let's get right down to the table and see how Taking of Taidian is played. Now, in Taking of Taidian, the goal is to be the last person standing by eliminating all of your opponents. Each player starts with a deck of 15 cards made up of the following: 5 coin cards, 1 cash card, 4 energy shield cards, 3 kick cards, 1 robber card, and 1 shotgun card. Take the remaining cards, separate them into stacks by card type, and place them in stacks face up like this. Now, I've got them separated out exactly the way the rules suggest. However, really the most important thing is going to be to keep them in to upgrade all the upgrade cards together, defense cards, and these are actually defense and attack cards, which we'll get to later, attack cards, and then structure cards. Next, players will choose their characters, starting with the youngest player. Now, this can be done at random by shuffling all the characters and drawing one without looking, or players can choose which one they think will best fit their strategy based on the character powers. Once each player chooses their character, you'll then take those characters, shuffle them up, draw one at random to decide who the first player is, and then play will move clockwise from that player. Characters generally start with 150 health points and 0 energy. You'll use markers to keep track on the energy and life tracks there. And you can see these are just paper clips. As I've said before, this is a prototype, so in the final product, I'm sure there'll be something better than paper clips to keep track of that. Check the character cards and powers for any possible differences in the setup regarding life and energy. You can see down here there's some flavor text, but also at the end of the flavor text is the character power. In this case, it's that each punch and kick that Marcus plays is +5 in damage. Each punch and kick played against him is reduced in impact by a value of 5 points. So in his case, there's no difference in setup, but that's what his character power is. Each player starts with one of each of the 4 powering up cards: skill, healing, aim, and strength. Start with these cards next to your character with only the top of the card showing, as you see here. After shuffling their deck, each player will draw 5 cards. The first player will then choose to take either an upgrading turn or an attacking turn. The player will then play all applicable cards, and after resolving their effect, will discard both the used, unused, and purchased cards to her discard pile. After discarding those cards to her discard pile, she'll then draw back up to 5 and play will move to the next player. If the player chooses to take an attacking turn, she may only play blue attack cards, such as these. And keep in mind, kick can be used as defense or attack, but in this case we're using it for attack. This black upgrade card and these red defense cards may not be used during an attacking turn. The attacking player takes the attack cards she's using, lays them in front of her, and declares which player she's attacking. Now in this case, if there's only one other player, then obviously that is the only player you can attack. However, if there were two opposing players, she could choose to use this card to attack this player and this card to attack this player. If this attack were resolved without either player playing defense, then each player would reduce their health by the amount listed, in this case 5 health, and then all of the used and unused cards would be discarded. At which point the active player would draw back up to 5 and play would move to the next player. However, maybe this player does have some defense cards that she'd like to play. If the player finds that she's being attacked, she may play any red defense card to reduce the amount of attack that has been thrown her way. So in this case, 2 kick cards are going to be 10 total attack. This player plays a energy shield in defense, which you can see right there has a 5 defense. And so only 5 of this 10 attack gets through, and this player will reduce her health by 5. Also, keep in mind that there would be no benefit to the player for playing more than the necessary amount to block. You do not heal by playing extra defense. After resolving the defense, the player will discard the played cards into her discard pile, just like the attacking player discards these into hers. However, the defensive player will not draw back up to 5 at the end of this combat. They wait to do that until the end of their next turn. The other option during a player's turn is to take an upgrading turn instead of an attack turn. During an upgrade turn, the player may only use black money cards or black energy cards. The red defense and blue attack cards are not used during an upgrading turn. So let's say the player had 2 coin cards. These can be used to purchase cards from the middle of the table. With all cards, the dollar amount in the top right corner is how much money it requires to purchase that card to add to your deck. The number in the top left is how many points of that particular type of card it gives you. So in this case, these will give me $1 each to be spent on cards in the middle of the table. So let's say we spent those, so let's say we use these 2 coin cards. That would open up several options for us. We could buy 2 more coin cards. We could purchase a $1 bolt card that would give us 1 energy whenever we play it. We could buy some more energy shields. But let's say we're going to buy a punch card worth 10 strength. Also keep in mind the only limitation on the number of cards you buy is how much money you're able to spend on that turn. If you have $5 to spend on your turn, you could buy 2 bolts, 1 coin, and 2 energy shields, or you could simply buy 1 9mm. After resolving any purchases, the purchase cards, along with played and unplayed cards, go in the player's discard pile. Now let's say we're a little farther along in the game and we had purchased some energy cards, and now we have these cards for our upgrading turn. We can still use the coins as normal to purchase cards from the middle of the table, but the bolt card, which can also be played during an upgrading turn, increases the energy on your character by 1. One of the most important things a player can do to survive in this game is powering up. Once a player gains 10 energy, she's allowed to power 2 of her 4 power-up cards, moving them to level 1. And the way she would do this, let's say she wanted strength, she would move that down to here, revealing that now there's plus 10 to her strength, and let's say healing. Move that down. So she now has plus 10 to her strength and plus 10 to her healing. All cards with a symbol matching the powered up cards will have 10 points added to whatever it is they provide. So for instance, punches, which have the strength symbol, are now worth 20 points of attack rather than the original 10. Similarly, first aid kits are now worth 15 points of healing rather than the original 5. Each of these cards may be powered up 3 total times. However, during a single power-up action, each card may not be powered up more than once. Also, before any card may be powered up for the third time, each card must be powered up at least once. If during an upgrading turn, the player purchases a gray structure card, this card does not go into the player's discard pile. Instead, it goes directly into play next to the player's character card. A structure is going to remain in play until the end of the game or until another player firebombs that structure. If a structure is firebombed, it will go into your discard pile. A player may have any number of structures in play, however, they may only have one of each type of structure at a time. After a structure has been firebombed and it goes into your discard pile, obviously, eventually it's going to be shuffled back into your deck and then drawn. Whenever you draw that structure back out, it may immediately go back into play. It does not require an action. It doesn't even require you to wait for your turn. When you're drawing back up to 5, you see that structure, put it into play. Now let's take a quick look at some special situations and cards that may occur during the game. These 3 cards, First Aid, Shotgun, and Antidote, are the only 3 cards which may be used to assist a teammate or temporary ally. The Shotgun card can be used to stop any number of robbers on a single turn. Both the 9mm and the Kick cards may be played as an attack or as defense. If played as defense, the defensive player will damage the attacking player by the amount indicated. If the defending player dies as a result of the attack, but played one of these cards, she will still damage the attacking player. Keep in mind that for these cards, the values you see here are solely for the purpose of dealing damage to the other player and do not reduce the other player's attack in any way. The First Aid card, which is used to heal yourself or others, is blue and therefore can be played only during an attack turn. The Fire Pit card may be used on an attack or upgrade turn. By doing so, if you have any cards you want to take out of your deck, you are now able to set them permanently aside and out of the game. During an attack, the player may assign the poison card to one of her opponents. For the next 4 turns, poison deals this much damage to the opponent. The only way to get rid of poison prior to it running its course over those 4 turns is if another player, including the one the poison is played on, plays the Antidote card to get rid of it. A Robber card is an attack card that allows a player to steal 1 card at random from any other player's hand. If the card that is stolen turns out to be an attack card, it may be used immediately during that same attack. And that's how you play Taking of Taidian. If you think this game looks interesting, then go click on the link in the description below, go over to the Kickstarter, and back it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. You can find me on Twitter @boredoffline. And until next time, if you're bored online, board offline.